you want to see the recording or you just want to follow back up, I can send it to you directly. I've made a couple of changes. If anybody was on from last week's webinar, I made a couple of changes based off feedback. With that being said, if you all have any feedback for me, I appreciate it. It helps me improve and it helps me answer questions a lot better the second, third time, fourth time around. So we're here to talk about how to make money in the foreign exchange market, also known as Forex. Today we're going to talk about what is Forex, the history of Forex, market participants, Forex trading education, okay? And I want this to be an open forum, so if you have questions while I'm talking, let me know, and we can pause and address them then. Okay, so first, what is Forex? Forex is the largest financial market in the world. Currency from every country is bought and sold. So in other words, it is the exchange of one currency for another at an agreed upon exchange price. Most people, and Lynette, we talked about this, most people have participated in Forex without really knowing. You know, for example, if you go out of the country and you exchange the US dollar for another currency, you've participated in the foreign exchange market. Depending on the value of the dollar at that time versus whatever you're exchanging it for, you may get more money or you may get less. The market movement is caused by supply and demand, and supply and demand is key. So if you continue this journey in the foreign exchange market, you want to keep in mind that the market is moving based off of supply and demand, not what you want it to do, not what the news tells you it's going to do. It's supply and demand. Now, the history of Forex. It was launched in the 1970s after the gold standard and the Bretton Woods system. Now, the gold standard is, or was, when the U.S. money value was directly linked to gold, countries agreed to convert paper money into a fixed amount of gold. So after the gold standard, we switched to Bretton Woods system. And the Bretton Woods system, it established the US dollar as a global currency among the world, and it removed us from the gold standard. It created the World Bank and International Money Fund. The United States became a dominant power, especially being the only country with the ability to print the dollar. The US dollar's role as the global currency took its toll. And then eventually, after, I guess, losing a lot of money on our part in the United States, President Nixon decided to remove us from the Bretton Woods system because we were experiencing a dangerous combination of inflation and recession, okay? So after that, after the United States was removed, the Bretton Woods system collapsed because, again, the United States was the global currency, okay? So after the Bretton Woods system, currencies began to float freely, relying on supply and demand. So by that, it's what we were saying earlier, where if you have a US dollar, it would be paired with the yen or the pound or any other currency. And the pairs would rely on each other to kind of keep them aligned. So if the US dollar's value became too high against another currency pair, the market will shift, forcing it to go back down. So again, it's supply and demand, how the market moves, okay? Sorry. Now, market participants are the government, central banks, other banks, other financial institutions, hedgers, and retail traders. We, as individuals, are retail traders. I don't know, the foreign exchange market was extremely new to me when I first started in September, but it wasn't long ago before we weren't allowed to trade. You had to come to the market with like $20,000. You had to do a credit check. You went through a lot of hoops to participate in this retail market. So once they opened it up to individuals like us, using a broker, we're able to leverage as little as $50 and participate in the foreign exchange market, okay? With the foreign exchange market, it's a lot quicker than the stock exchange or other types of markets. The money moves quicker. You don't have to hold trades for a very long time. And that's pretty much what appeals to the world about it. So that, in a sense, is market participants. And what we're introducing to you is the fact that you can become a retail trader. Anyone can do it. It's not difficult, okay? Now, because I don't want to sell you a dream and not be real with you, I need to let you know the reality of trading. Until you learn the skills and psychology of trading, you're actually gambling. So those who go to the casino, you never really know, you know, what the dealer has or what the house is doing. You're literally just putting your money on the table and hoping for the best. If you don't learn what you need to learn when it comes to trading in general, whether it's stocks, whether it's the foreign exchange, you're gambling, okay? Another thing to keep in mind is that at least 90% of those who attempt to trade end up quitting. Trading requires dedication, consistency, and patience, among other things. Now, I wanted to get that out up front, just so you all understand the type of requirements needed to be successful. Everyone still with me? Everybody still good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes, we're here.
So, perfect. So as long as we understand that it requires dedication, consistency, patience, you're always a student. There's always something new to learn. And after I scared you straight, I'm going to tell you that the Elite Fortune Group is here to help you. And I misspelled that. That's the problem with not having your team look over your work. So we're here to help you. And this is, you know, this misspelling isn't a result of the Elite Fortune Group. This is all Whitley's fault. Okay, so with the Elite Fortune Group, outside of, you know, spell check and everything else like that, each of us, we all are on our own career paths. We're all doing something different, but we've decided to come together to excel in the world, to find financial freedom, to help others with financial freedom. We have took on the challenge to introduce the foreign exchange market to the individual person. And by that, and how we're doing that is using iMarkets Live. So iMarkets Live is the trading education that I mentioned to you in the agenda. Okay? So we're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to go specific into iMarkets Live's tools and education. So iMarkets Live, we chose them as the vehicle to teaching people about the foreign exchange market because they align perfectly with what we do currently and what we want to do for everyone. Their focus is moving employees and self-employed people from the 95% of the population only making 5% of the world's money over to the right side of this quadrant to be business owners and investors. And business owners and investors make 95% of the world's money, not just the United States, but the world's money, and they're only 5% of the population. So again, the Elite Fortune Group is dedicated to getting people from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant with the help of iMarkets Live, okay?